My name is Nekme Obasogie. I'm here to highlight 10 African heads of states that override the democratic principle of 8 or 10 years in office. Some commentators argue that Western democratic system of electing political leaders is not suitable for many African countries. The question is whether or not Western democratic system of government is compatible to African culture. I think viewers' opinion is required this time. If you have any comments about this question, please leave your comments in the comment area, as I'm about to do the analysis of 10 African political leaders that ruled their various countries for more than 10 years. Guinea's president Teodora Obiang has been in office since 1979. This year marks his 40th year in power, making him the longest-serving president in the world. Obiang overthrew his uncle Macias in 1979 in a bloody coup. He later sentenced him to death for the atrocity he committed during his tenure in office, including the genocide of the Bombi people. Teodora has been ruling the country since 1979. President Dos Santos of Angola ruled the country from 1979 to 2017, 38 years in office. He became the president of Angola 4 years after the country attained its liberation. After the death of Angola's first president, Agostinho Neto, on September 10, 1979, Dos Santos became the president of Angola and commander-in-chief of the armed forces in September 21, 1979. While being praised for his role in transforming the country's oil sector, he has been similarly criticized for leading one of the continent's most corrupt regimes. While 70% of Angola's population live on less than $2 a day, his daughter Isabel has become one of the richest Africans and certainly one of the youngest billionaires in the world. President Robert Mugabe ruled Zimbabwe for 37 years. Mugabe was the Prime Minister of Zimbabwe from 1980 to 1987. In late 1987, Zimbabwe's parliament amended the constitution. On December 30th, the same year, they declared Mugabe to be the executive president, a new position that combines the roles of head of state, head of government, and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. This position gave him the power to dissolve parliament and run for unlimited number of terms. He was re-elected in 1987 and ruled the country until 2017, when he finally resigned. President Mugabe was probably the most polarizing political leader in Africa during his time in office. While receiving intense criticism from the West, he also maintained popular support from Africans within and outside Africa for his outspoken defiance of Western control and influence. Robert Mugabe died on September 6, 2019. President Paul Biya of Cameroon has been in office for 37 years. On November 4, 1982, the first Prime Minister of Cameroon, Ahmadou, announced his resignation, and Paul Biya succeeded him as President of Cameroon on November 6, 1982. After being re-elected in multiple elections, in 2004, President Biya was barred by a 2-term limit in the 1996 constitution from running for president again in 2011. But he sought to revise the constitution to allow him to run in 2011 election. The removal of the 10 limits was among the grievances expressed during violent protests in late February 2008 in Cameroon. He has been consistently re-elected as the national president of the RODPC since 1982. President Yoweri Museveni of Uganda has been in power since 1986, 33 years in office. The people of Uganda have been complaining of ringing and violence at police stations during general elections. President Museveni was re-elected in 2016. The opposition candidates claimed that the elections were marred by widespread fraud. voting irregularities, the repeated arrest of opposition politicians, and a climate of voter intimidation. But that does not stop him from being re-elected, as Museveni is currently in his 5th term in office, and he is taking all necessary measures to have a 6th term. In 2014, President Museveni made it a criminal offense not to report someone for being gay in Uganda. President Omar al-Bashir of Sudan ruled the country for 29 years. In 1989, Brigadier Omar al-Bashir led a bloodless military coup that deposed power from Prime Minister Sadiq al-Mahdi and his government as the country faced nationwide famine. Since then, he has been re-elected 3 times in dubious elections. In 2009, he became Africa's first sitting president to be indicted by the ICC for imposing mass killings, rape, and torture on the people of Darfur. He ruled from 1989 to 2019. General Idris Deby took over Chad's presidency after a rift formed between him and the then president Habri in December 1990. He has survived various rebellions against his government. He won elections in 1996 and 2001. After 10 limits were eliminated in the constitution, he won again in 2006 and 2011. In February 2016, Deby was nominated by the Patriotic Salvation Movement to run for a new term in the April 2016 presidential elections. He pledged to reinstate 10 limits in the constitution by saying that we must limit terms. We must not concentrate on a system in which a change in power becomes difficult. President Idris has been in office since 1990, 28 years. President Asias Afwerki of Eritrea has been in power for 26 years now. Since Eritrea's independence in 1993, President Asias has held on to the top office. Eritrea is a one-party state. Asias' party, People's Front for Democracy and Justice, PFDJ, is the only party allowed to participate in the country's politics. President Asias has been criticized for failing to implement democratic reforms in Eritrea. His government has clamped down on its critics and has closed all private press in Eritrea to avoid any potential criticism of his regime. President Denis Sassou Nguesso had 2 tenures as head of state in the Republic of Congo. The first one was from 1979 to 1992, where he led the single-party regime of the Congolese Party of Labour, PCT. He returned to power at the end of the 1997 Civil War when he overthrew President Pascal Lissouba. He has been in power since 1997, 22 years in office. The last on the list is Yahya Jammeh. He became the president of Gambia in 1996 when he was only 31 years old. During his tenure, he was an outspoken critic of homosexuality. In 2008, he announced that his government would introduce a tougher legislation against homosexuals. He ruled Gambia from 1996 to 2017, 20 years in office. That's all for today. Thank you guys for watching and bye for now.